6 o'clock. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the DeKalb Central County United School District Board of Education regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. At this time, I'll ask all able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Angie, could you do roll call, please?
Lauren Anderson.
Present.
Valerie Armstrong.
Present.
Tony Baker.
Present.
Tony O'Neill.
Present.
Katie Feaster.
Present.
Thank you, Angie. Tonight, we will begin our meeting with our presentations, and we have Country Meadow Elementary.
Yes, and we're going to turn it over to Principal Mrs. Brandt, who has some friends with her this evening. So we're excited to have Country Meadow here. I think
It
was
is.
turned
It's on. It's on.
on. Okay.
Thank you for having us tonight. I'm excited to introduce our three representatives from our student leadership team tonight and our advisors for the program that we have. We have Mrs. Tipton and Heather Ford, who are teachers and our guidance counselor. So they're going to take it away and share all the great things that they do at Country Meadow. So I'll start. Are you going to? I'm not sure who's going to start. I'm going to let you do the introduction.
I'm Mrs. Tipton. I'm the school counselor at Country Meadow, and I run the student leadership team with Mrs. Ford. So we just wanted to tell you a little bit, about the student leadership team. So at Country Meadow, our team is composed of 3rd through 5th grade kids. So this year we have 14 students total. And for them to be a part of our team, they have to complete an application. They also have to take that home, share with their parents. They also have to do a presentation for their classroom. And then as a class, they vote based on the presentation that they see. So it's really all student driven, which is really cool. We just put our mission up there, as you can see too, but just be leaders within our school and our community. And you'll see that as they share some things tonight. So they're going to show you how they're leaders within Country Meadow, but then also the things they do at Country Meadow that also really helps our community in Ashley, Corona, some of those little surrounding cities that our kids come from too. Backwards, Angie.
I'm Heather Ford. I have done this with Mrs. Tipton for 8 years now. I teach kindergarten at Country Meadow. Today I'm going to introduce to you our 3 representatives, and they were all very gracious about doing this. We did not have to pull any teeth. They offered to do it. So I have Maisie Friels. She's up first. She is in 4th grade, and this is her 2nd year with us. So Callan Riggleman is in 3rd grade. This is his 1st year. And then we have Emmy Bigelow, and this is her 1st year at Country Meadow and on our team. So it was a really cool thing she offered to do too. So I'll let you take it away, Maisie.
Our jobs at CME all of them are completed at Friday, and our jobs change every 9 weeks. We have paper recycling and plastic recycling, and we also have student mentors, which is where a couple people from SLT go to kindergarten classrooms for a couple minutes, and they mentor, help us out wherever they can. And we have boomerang backpacks where the kids' parents can fill out a form for them to have extra food for the weekends, and they are delivered at Thursday afternoon.
So we help our community by doing plastic recycling. Our partner is Brightmark, and we accept plastic from home. People can bring them in from home. They could bring it to school. We accept plastic. You could just bring it to us and we'll take it. And it's in Ashley, Indiana. Brightmark is, and we've had over 10,000 pounds of plastic donated to Brightmark Brightmark is a great community partner for us because they also made a book, which we're going to show you.
There you go. Brightmark came to Country Meadow last December, and they sort of gave us a little taste of Hollywood in our small little town and school. They set up the lights and all the different places and spaces, and they did write the story, the story of the Magic Dino Bin. And in the video, you'll see what was the gym transformed into their trash area. So they did a great job with the kids, and we were really excited to be partners with them. This video has not been released yet. It will be released to the public in a couple months, but they've given me permission to go ahead and show it. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a short 5-minute video.
There's a little girl and her name was Ashley. She wishes on a bright side that someone could help her clean all the plastic waste up off the ground.
The kids had no idea it was inside that box.
So my kids love dinosaurs, but they hate plastic waste.
It's everywhere.
Plastic recycling is broken. Only 5% of plastic waste is recycled.
My name is Rick. I'm an engineer at Brightmark. Our mission is to reimagine waste. We've built the world's most advanced, totally circular recycling system. So I like to try and explain the process to my kids, but pyrolysis is a little bit complicated. So we made up the Pyrolosaurus to explain how things work.
Pyrolysaurus. It eats plastic. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
We're able to take just commingled mixed plastics, styrofoam cups, plastic wrap.
All kinds of plastic. It gets turned into tiny little bits. Then it's made into new things.
Car seats, traffic cones, bicycle helmets, you name it.
It's totally circular. I'm pretty proud of our dad.
To celebrate Brightmark going fully circular, we decided to take the Pyrolosaurus and make it real, to inspire more kids to recycle.
It could be the coolest recycling bin I've ever seen.
So we've been working with a local school here in Ashley, Indiana, and today we're going to surprise them with this magical dino bin that they can collect their plastic in.
The kids know a lot about the recycling program, but they have no idea about this dino bin.
It's a secret.
But before we show them what was inside of the crate, we read a whole magical backstory about the dino bin.
We gotta hear a magical story. There's a little girl, her name was Ashley. She loved dinosaurs, but she hates plastic waste. She wishes on a bright side to fix it. And a magic dinosaur appeared.
It liked to eat plastic. When the tiny dino eats the plastic, it gets bigger and bigger.
It became bigger. Then it can cough up new plastic things made from the plastic waste. She runs out of plastic to feed it.
And then Ashley put wheels on it, and she took it to school.
It was pretending to be a recycling bin.
Are you guys ready to see the big surprise?
Here's a big wooden box. It's a top secret.
What does that mean?
I hear something. You guys don't see it. No, I want to open it.
I think it's a Lamborghini.
Come on, friends, come sit.
Are you guys ready to see what's inside?
It was a real-life magic dino bin.
told my teacher that it's actually real. The dino band's really cute.
So this is a real-life Pyralosaurus,
It's a dinosaur.
and it is famished. It's super hungry. So it's ready to eat your plastic so we can take it over to Brightmark and turn it into new things.
Help me be the big dinosaur plastic. Don't touch the teeth!
The kids absolutely loved seeing the character in the story come to life.
The dino bin looks different because what happens to the plastic is different. It doesn't go to normal recycling, it goes to Brightmark. We went to Brightmark and got to see how the plastic waste got turned into new things.
So a story like this really captures their imagination. You can see their eyes start to light up and the excitement start to brew in them, starting to wonder what they can do.
We go through so much plastic, and we never would have realized before we started this program.
We've already saved 7,500 pounds of plastic from going into landfills.
I feel like science is like real life magic.
Imagine if recycling worked the way we all expect it should.
Imagine Brightmark bins like this all over the world. I kind of love the dino bin. It makes me feel hopeful.
This is just the beginning.
Pretty cute video, isn't that? The neat thing is that Dino Bin is going to eventually be placed at Country Meadow. They're working on the replica to make sure it doesn't snap fingers because it's a very heavy lid. So we need to make it safe for the kids. So we're excited to see it come back at some point. But really and truly, Brightmark has been an amazing partner with us, and they've done a lot of things for Country Meadow, including some toys and bigger things for the playground for the kids to pull out, the tic-tac-toe, some personalized cornhole games and can jam, a couple things like that when we reached 10,000 pounds. So there was a celebration. And then as you could see, the kids actually went to Brightmark and visited and went on a field trip. So they learned a lot about the process and had to wear all their safety gear in there as well. So I'm going to let the students go ahead and continue, but thank you for watching.
We do a food drive to help our community. CMEs set a goal to collect 500 items. All the food was collected and given back to families in our community. Food was also placed in the blessing box in Ashley and Corona. Brightmark also donated food towards our drive. Our final total of items was 1,021 collected. And this is us when we were collecting all the food in the hallways, and we also put all the food in the gym.
We help our community by also doing Loyal Canine Rescue. We work with Loyal Canine Rescue to collect items for puppies who needs homes, and they also take in other pets too. They also prioritize the health and safety of pets, and they seek out families who will continue to love and care for them. The donations collected were Lysol wipes, toys, leashes, small, large harnesses, and potty pads and dog treats. We also collected bleach. And these are a couple pictures of them coming in and sharing to us about what they did and how they did it. And then this is some SLT members collecting the produce that we got from them.
For junior achievement, we did a school community collection for pennies and just coins and dollars, and we ended up making 1,120 coins and dollars. We do this thing for 5th grade. They get to design their T-shirt, and we do different stuff to raise money for them to be able to make their own shirts. And these are some of the things we've done in the past, and we've done this year. We've done like a smart cookie sale. We do it like Valentine's Day, or the closest day to Valentine's Day. We also do hot chocolate and ice cream sundae sales.
And then all the money that we raise, like you said, goes for the 5th graders. They all get a shirt when they leave Country Meadow for free. And then the 5th grade team, or the kids on the student leadership team who are 5th graders, design the shirts every year. And then we send their design off and they grade it. So that's always really fun and something like our 5th grade team members look forward to, especially when they've been in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. It's a big thing that they really like to do. So.
Great job. Thank you guys for being here tonight. You all did wonderful.
Do we know who's presenting next month? Because that's going to be hard to top.
Well, you're going to have to set the bar high there.
Sorry.
That's a lot of different programs in one.
It's great. I love that video too.
Oh, I was thinking the video. Well, this evening I have the pleasure and honor to recognize one of our own, Mr. Joshua Yankee. Mr. Yankee is our district's Power School Administrator who recently earned the Certified Education Technology Leader designation. I think we call it CETL. This has been about an 18-month-long journey for Mr. Yankee, which included spending a year in a mentorship program and preparing to take and pass a rigorous comprehensive certification exam. The CETL certification, awarded by the Consortium for School Networking, signifies that Josh has mastered the knowledge and skills needed to bring 21st century technology to our K-12 students and schools. COSN is the premier professional association for school system technology leaders, and its mission is to empower educational leaders to leverage technology to realize engaging learning environments and to help me navigate everything. I've learned so much from Mr. Yankee. Earning the CETL certification demonstrates the commitment that Mr. Yankee has to our district and to bringing the 21st century learning to our schools. Because of this CETL certification requirements, certified leaders pledge to stay current in this ever-changing field of education technology. With us this evening are two guests who were instrumental in helping Josh achieve his certification goals. This is Darlene Kennedy, who is the Director of Technology Integration and Professional Development Coordinator for the Northern and Northwestern Indiana Educational Service Centers, and Mr. Nick Williams, Director of Technology Innovation for the Bartholomew Consolidated School Corporation in Columbus, Indiana. So I will turn it over to your mentors, Josh.
First of all, thank you very much for having us. We're excited to be here. We're a little bit in shock of having to follow that great presentation by those kids. We were like, how are we going to follow that? That was absolutely amazing. You guys have a wonderful district here. You really do. As she said, I'm Darlene Kennedy. I work for the Northern and Northwest Educational Service Centers, but I'm also the Indiana CETL Ambassador through our Indiana CTO Council, which is our state chapter of the COSN network. I get the pleasure of working with all of our CETLs and our CTO-to-Bs to gain that CETL certification. I'm very passionate about it, but what I'm really proud of is that Josh has now put us right over the 75 mark. We have 75 CETLs throughout the state of Indiana, and I think that has been over, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the past 10 years or so. So it's not something that hundreds of people have in the state. It is a very small group, and we're very proud of that group. It is an internationally accredited exam that is very rigorous. It's 100 questions I think, in 80 minutes, 120, I don't know. It's, you have this much time and they're scenario based. So you're reading a paragraph and then you're not just looking for the right answer, you're looking for the best answer. So you really have to take what you know from the essential frameworks and apply your knowledge and your leadership and your skill set to answering and passing that exam.
So, thank you for having us again. I had the privilege of being paired with Josh, and just am thankful that we can spend the time to celebrate one of your staff members. It's been a pleasure getting to know him over the last year and a half. Not only is it studying for the test, which is mainly Darlene, but we also do a lot of leadership study and a book study throughout it. So it's been a journey, and I really think Josh exemplifies your mission in terms of being a critical thinker, a communicator, and a collaborator. Being in technology, you have to work with everybody in the district. You have all sorts of problems coming at you every day. No day's the same. And you just get to learn, or at least become a better communicator. And I know Josh has done that with his work with Power School and now enrollment. So it's been a pleasure to honor Josh in this way. And again, can't thank you enough for having us here.
So on behalf of the Indiana CTO Council and the CTO to be cohort that you are a part of, we are very proud of you, and we would just like to present you with this little...
Not technical at all. It's
Not
a paperweight.
It's technical. But we'd like to present this to you and just recognize you. Thank you for being a part.
Congratulations, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you for your hard work with this.
Great job.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations, and thank you guys for being here to present it too.
Absolutely.
That's all we have for presentations tonight. At this time, I will ask the board to adopt and amend the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item F is the consent agenda. This includes items F1 through F5. This is our board minutes, financial report, claims, personnel, and field trips. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, on the financial report, Mark, not tonight, but for tomorrow or next month's board meeting, can you show a breakdown on, when you look at the overall budget, you have total revenue, total expense, there's a $5.6 million difference. Can you explain what that is?
Sure.
I mean, I don't need 191 line items, right? You can summarize it.
Okay.
What's the difference so we can explain that
Okay.
to the community so everybody understands?
Thanks, Tony. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item G, donations.
We have a number of donations. Once again, just a very generous community, different businesses and individuals, families. So just wanted to read into the record tonight. We had a $600 donation from Nucor for the high school Winter Guard program. We had a $200 donation for the softball program at the high school from Larry and Gail Norton. We had a $250 donation from Nucor Building Systems for the DMS robotics program, and certainly Coach there is extremely grateful for all the support for robotics, and that program is in full swing across the district and across the area. So once again, just a very generous outpouring of support from many people and organizations for the programs and the students that we have involved in them.
Great. Thank you, Steve. And thank you to all of our community members who support our district. Item H1 is a soccer scoreboard donation.
Yeah, I pulled a specific donation that was a little bit larger in size, and so I just wanted to pull it and allow the board to consider approving the receipt of this donation. We're excited to announce a tremendous gift made in the memory of Rex Burkhall, who passed away in 2004. Rex's widow, Chris Gartner, has graciously offered to provide full financial support for the purchase and installation of a new soccer scoreboard, totaling $24,925, just tremendous. The family has a long and meaningful connection to DeKalb Central Schools and DeKalb athletics. Their daughters were active in DeKalb activities, and today the next generation of their family continues that tradition, participating in DeKalb soccer amongst other activities as well. The donation reflects not only the tribute to Rex's memory, but also the family's enduring love and support for DeKalb soccer and our student athletes. So I put a picture of what the scoreboard will look like, and we'll continue to work with Chris and keep her involved in other updates that we're planning on putting in place across the 612 campus, because she has indicated that she would like to get involved in more than just maybe this contribution, and maybe there's some other things that she can help and support us with. So we're just extremely grateful for people like Chris and that are able to give back to the district that has provided for their family over the years. So hopefully the board will approve of this donation.
Thank you. And with that, I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is there a way we can pop that up on the screen? I know that it was on the bottom of that recommendation so that the people here can see it. Sorry, Angie. Put you on the spot.
She's smiling.
Well, I've seen her smile before.
I mean, you've seen that smile before.
Well,
You're almost there. Two more. There it is.
so it sort of resembles the football a little bit. As
Yeah,
far
we're
as,
trying to maintain that,
Yep,
that similar design. So yeah, that's just, we got to do a little bit of trimming up over there to make room for it. We have a lot of trees there in that background, so some trimming that has to take place. And we're in the works of looking to replace the flagpole as well. That's a much needed improvement over there. But soccer has become a focus with the soccer barn getting a refresh and some other items over there in that area. And of course with the pavilion and the parking lot coming over there as well in the near future. So just some much needed improvements. So glad to do it.
thank you, Angie.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you to the Burkhall family. I know we will have a lot of soccer families that really appreciate seeing the scores all lit up and not just a portion of them. And yes, much needed and very much appreciated. So thank you. Okay, item H2 is a recommendation for DMS 2627, Dean of Students, Athletic Director.
So I pulled this recommendation from the consent agenda just because it's a unique recommendation that I just wanted to bring for the board's consideration, and this comes to us from the principal at the middle school, Mrs. Carrie Weishart. She's recommending Brett Elsroth for his continued employment for the 26-27 school year in the role of Dean of Students and Athletic Director. As the board may recall, mid-year, our school experienced an unexpected leadership transition with the resignation of an associate principal athletic director. During that time, Mr. Elsroth stepped in immediately to provide stability and leadership, assuming responsibilities not only as the athletic director, but also successfully learning and supporting the duties of the Dean of Students. So he took on two major leadership roles. In a split second, he offered his support right away when this happened. And his 27 years of teaching experiences and coaching in the middle school and at the high school level varsity sports just made him a really good fit to take over the athletic director responsibilities, but also that Dean of Students role as well. So this recommendation, we basically plugged him into that. Mrs. Weishart plugged him in. We've offered a lot of support, and I know Mrs. Weishart and Mr. Rentschler, the associate principal, have worked alongside Mr. Ellsroth, and he's really done a great job, and we kind of promised we'll see how the year goes, and at this point, we are really excited to be able to recommend Mr. Ellsroth stay in this role and make sure that we accompany it with a contract for the number of days needed for this type of role. So we strongly recommend that the board consider Mr. Ellsroth for the 26-27 school year as Dean of Students Athletic Director on a 210-day contract at $89,109. Again, Mr. Ellsroth is a 27-year staff member here at DeKalb Central Schools. And of course, once we get to the point later on in the spring, summer, to consider raises or salary raises for administrative, certified staff outside the bargaining unit, and classified staff members, Mr. Ellsroth would also qualify for that as well. So, for the board's consideration tonight.
Okay, thank you, Steve. At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, when I got hired in 2001, I was very lucky to have two people as my neighbors to kind of tell me what I shouldn't do at the middle school. Steve was two doors down, and Brett was one door down. So if I had a question or if I was doing something I shouldn't do in a middle school setting, I had two role models, even though I'm still older than them. I had two good guys that could help me if I had questions, and I think I can't think of a better person to fill this spot than Brett. I've known Brett for a long time, and I think he's probably more excited than what we know. So I think this is a great fit.
I hope so. I know he hit the ground running with that role, so.
Yes, he did.
So, we appreciate him. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item H3, the demographic study proposal recommendation.
I've communicated to the board in recent updates and just through conversations about our demographic study proposal that I was planning to bring this evening. The most recent demographic study for DeKalb Central Schools was completed in 2021. Since that time, a number of factors have continued to influence our enrollment trends, housing development patterns, long-term population projections within our district, and to ensure that our strategic planning and facility discussions, to which we've had many facility discussions over these past 5 years and more discussions yet to happen, we want to make sure that we have a good understanding of our demographics and what the enrollment trends might look like. The district has received a proposal from McKibben Demographic Research LLC to complete a comprehensive population and enrollment forecast. We have used Jerry McKibben I've been here a long time, and I can't remember using anyone else besides Jerry. He understands our district, he understands this area. He was born and raised in northwest Allen County, and he has done a good job, I believe, in providing accurate information. Demographic studies are impacted by a lot of different factors, so you really can't take them any further past the different factors that are going to come into play as years go by. But he's been fairly spot on what he has predicted for us as far as our enrollment over the past several years. So this would allow us to have population estimates and forecasts from 2025 to 2030 to 2035 by age, sex, total population of our District 4 elementary attendance areas, enrollment forecast by grade, up and through the 2035-36 school years for each of our 4 elementaries, DeKalb Middle School and DeKalb High School, and then a written report summarizing all of his findings and his forecast results. The total cost of the study is $5,900, which I think is reasonable. There is an additional charge if we want him to come in person for a presentation. The last time we did this in 2021, he presented virtually, and I wouldn't recommend paying additional fee to have him come in person. I think he can present the information virtually, and he can answer all questions that the board might have in that format as well. So I would be happy to entertain any questions that you might have. He is someone that is utilized quite a bit by a lot of different schools, other superintendents that I work with and meet with. We all speak very highly of Jerry McKibben and the work that he's done for not only our district, but for other districts, and I would just ask for the board's consideration to move forward with this proposal.
Okay, thank you, Steve. At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
In that demographic study, is it possible, and I don't know, he might not be able to do this, I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay.
Is it possible that he could recommend what redistricting the district would look like in order to utilize and equalize the use of the current facilities we have?
I assume you're referencing the 4 elementary areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did ask him also, there's always been discussion about the growth seems to be coming from the south, from northern Allen County. So what would it look like, or what does the forecast tell him about any type of additional elementary school between Auburn and Allen County? So he'll probably come with some specifics on that as well, whether it's 10, 15, 20 years forecasted. It's just, that's one of those big strategic items that you'd want to get at least on our list.
Right.
No matter how far off it is.
That's why I would ask for, how do you rezone the districts by elementary school in order to utilize the facilities we have first, and what's gonna be the cost of that versus building another school?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I mean, for years we bused Ashley and Corona to Auburn. Now, today fuel's a lot more expensive than it was back then, and busing and labor's a lot more expensive, so even if we wanted to do that, there's gonna be a cost.
Yeah.
And over 20 years, what's that gonna look like? Does it make more sense to build a school with less driving? And I don't know. And I don't even know if he can do that. I don't know if that's one of the things he does.
He could probably provide information that would support the growth and where it's happening the most.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, I made a note of that, and I'll send that to Jerry and see if he can add that to it.
Steve, what's the typical timeline that it takes to do this?
I think we could have it as early as next month.
Okay.
It's
Is
a
this
pretty
something
quick
like
turnaround.
we could do like a work session and
Yeah.
have possible discussion with that then? I do think this is like very valuable information and might be very helpful for like some of our redevelopment commissions as well, just for planning and
yeah, again,
purposes.
right, putting it in the long-term plan.
All right, I have a second or a first and a second. So any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item H4, Special Education Consultation Services Recommendation.
So my last item this evening is a continuation from an earlier approval from the board to explore the opportunity to withdraw from the Northeast Indiana Special Education Cooperative, knowing that that is, it's an 18-month process. The first 6 months of that process is to evaluate our current needs from a financial standpoint, from a programming standpoint, from a method of delivery standpoint. And so we're currently in the middle of gathering as much information as we possibly can. Everything from how much would it take to re-outfit a room that is currently a co-op room that would have to be a DeKalb Central room? How much would it cost for the furniture? Or would we purchase furniture from the co-op? So we're trying to cover every aspect of it. And so this ask is for contracted services of an individual by the name of Dr. Angela Balsley. She's an expert in special education, and she assists schools who make the same decision of maybe moving away or analyzing if it makes sense to move away or what you need to consider moving out of a co-op situation. She has recently helped East Noble, a neighboring district, who went through the same process. And I checked with them, and They recommended her and said that she was just very good to work with. And regardless of our decision, it's going to provide outstanding information for me to be able to bring a recommendation to the board, hopefully by April, but no later than June, that we either stay, recommending we stay in the co-op or if we leave. And it's going to be based largely on information that we're collecting now, but through the advisement of Angela in working through all the legal parameters of leaving the co-op, the structure that we're creating or looking to create if we're off on our own. And already we're starting to have conversations with Angela. But this contracted service, and I was very pleased with just the amount of $2,625 to get some expert guidance through this process and work with us. But she could also work with us if we decide to withdraw from the co-op. We could extend our services with her, and I would bring back something else for the board to consider if we do decide to do that. So I think this is something that we need to do to make sure that we're thinking about everything that's involved in making this type of a decision. The co-op, we've been a member of the co-op since 1970. So that's a 55, 56 year relationship that we've had. But I also know that we want to do what's best for DeKalb Central and the students that we serve. And I think Angela's input will help us reach that decision that I'll bring to you later on this spring. So I would ask for the board's consideration to approve this contracted service agreement with Dr. Angela Balsley so that she can assist us in getting the information we need to make an informed decision about staying or leaving the co-op.
Thank you, Steve. At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we currently have any open positions for any of the special ed activities that we currently host?
I would say that we probably have some para positions that are currently posted. We don't have any teaching positions currently for special ed, but we do have some para positions, some special ed in some of our co-op programs that are open right now.
And we would anticipate possibly having to hire some?
Say again, Tony.
We'd have to hire something. We probably have to hire additional teachers. At this time, we just don't know how much.
Yeah, like right now, we host several co-op programs, like our applied skills programs that we have 3 classrooms at Waterloo and then a therapy room as well. We have applied skills at middle school, applied skills at the high school. So if we were to withdraw from the co-op, those programs would then be DeKalb Central programs, and then we'd have to evaluate the number of staff members we would need to. We'd need certified teachers, and we would also need paraprofessional support as well. And that would be based on our counts. And so we currently know the number of students that we have that are currently special ed students that are in those programs. And so we can get an idea of the level of support that we would need for those programs. Something that we'll have to decide later on then, Tony, will be if we decide to leave, then we'll need to decide, are we going to allow students from outside our district to attend those programs, and what does that look like? We are an open district right now. We do accept out-of-district transfers, to which we have, I think, around 300 students that come to us from outside our district. So some of our most at-risk students coming to us from with special education needs, we would still look to allow those students to come to us, but it just might have to look a little bit different because they're going to need more support. So that's a question that can be answered after we make the decision on staying or going.
No, but doesn't it require a special certificate for special ed? Teachers got to have a special license or?
Yeah. Yep.
And are those readily available? I mean, are those individuals hard to find?
I would tell you special education teachers, I mean, those are a high needs position typically, but I believe we will be able to fill those positions because right now they may be co-op positions, they may become DeKalb Central positions, and I like to believe that people want to work at DeKalb Central, and I don't think we'll have a problem once we post those positions. I think we'll have a good number of very qualified candidates applying.
The only reason I ask those questions is because I have a special needs nephew.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I know it takes a lot of extra effort.
Yep.
I mean, just to move them, sometimes takes extra effort, and so that's why I was asking.
And some of our co-op programs are some of our most at-risk students who need some of the greatest supports that we can offer. Thank you, Tony.
That's all I have.
Yeah, and this is just, we're exploring this
Yeah.
option with it by approving this plan right now. So if there's people in the community that have questions on how things might look or whatever, I really encourage you to reach out to our administration. So I know we've had a few here and there just
Yeah.
based on the rumblings, but I think it's been good to get good feedback and information. So thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item H5, sorry, the draft policy proposal.
Here we go. Here we roll. Well, you recall that we have moved our policy service from Neola to ISBA, and I will tell you that it has not been an easy undertaking. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces to it, but we're getting it dialed in, and we're having to review each policy, look at our Neola policy, look at ISBA policy, do compare, contrast, edits. The first 5 that I provided for you, you've had time certainly to take a look at them, and I'm just going to summarize them quickly just for public's sake. And once we go through these tonight, and this is just the presentation part. This would not count as the first reading, it's just a presentation, and this will be kind of how we do this moving forward. During the March meeting, we will have the first reading. It is lawful to have the first reading and vote to approve or reject all at the same time. We do not have to go through a second reading and then another. So unless the board directs me elsewhere, we'll probably run it like that. A lot of the changes that I presented to you for tonight, you notice there was quite a bit of Neola language stricken. Neola, they're very thorough. I'm going to say that about Neola. They're very thorough. And sometimes the intent and the meaning of the policy get lost in the thoroughness. And so when we started going through them, when I started reviewing, okay, what's important for our people to know about this policy, and that's the lens I tried to keep on as we work through them. We also are working with ISBA right now to do the number conversions. So the policy numbers will change once ISBA has concluded that, and that's taking a little more time than we planned. I want to recognize Angie Brown because she's like my right arm. She's dialed in the whole editing process, and she goes online once I visit, review, revise. I subject those to her, and she gets them edited so that they're ready for you to take a look at. And so that has been very, very helpful. She keeps me off the ledge on this. So I want to say thank you again, Angie. So we'll start just first with the homebound instruction program. You notice that I basically struck out the Neola policy. There was a lot of antiquated language in there, things that are no longer required to be done or are done, and we're updating that with an ISBA policy 5350. There really was no new information, just took out a lot of language just to make it absolutely clear. The one thing about homebound instruction that's very important to know, and when I tell you these things, it's because I've dealt with it over and over and over again, but with homebound instruction, we do not allow homebound teachers to go into the individual student's home unless it is an extreme extenuating circumstance, and we've had some of those. But we require that they meet with the parent and the child in a public place, most generally at the library, either in Waterloo or in Auburn, and so that instruction takes place in a public place. The rule of thumb with homebound, just for your information, is an average of 5 hours a week, one-to-one instruction. We don't make any teacher ever do homebound. Once a principal has a situation where they need homebound, they will put that out to their staff, and if they can't find it within their building, then we'll start extending it to other buildings. For special ed students, there is no law per se that says it has to be a special ed teacher, but every effort must be made to make sure that if the child does have an IEP, that they are instructed by a special education teacher if possible, if and when possible, which is getting harder and harder to do. So that's homebound instruction. The policy 5111, determination of legal settlement and eligibility and enrollment of students without legal settlement in the corporation. I think honestly, Neola probably wrote that policy back when nobody did this. And so if you look at the language that was stricken, there was a lot of language about it. One thing we need for folks to remember about our legal settlement and eligibility is that we do accept out-of-district transfers, but those do have to be applied for annually. So we try to remind our parents that this has to be done every year. And we have the stipulations, the student has to be in good standing as far as behavior. We do not accept expelled students. That's the big one. And then also we take a look at the attendance. So really it's one of those things that either do it for all or you do it for none. We can't pick and choose who we decide once we say we're going to take out of district students. So that's a really important thing to remember on that. Policy 144.1, compensation for board members. The change here, and it was reflected in your revision, is going from $1,800 to $1,900. So it's a whopping increase of $100. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm just the messenger, okay? So that's proposed. Policy 5541, credit for religious instruction and release time. This one has become increasingly important because it is happening more than it did probably when the original Neola policy came out. The one thing that's important for us to know about this policy, aside from their standard language, is that DeKalb High School does not provide credit for religious classes outside of the school. If we excuse a student to go, that's one thing, and that's fine, and we're glad to do that according to policy, but we will not grant credit for those courses. And then finally, board vacancies. I think we were the poster child for that this year, weren't we? Yeah. Some things really changed, and it caught some people's attention, and I know our legal representation spent a lot of time on this, and so that policy, 0142.3, addresses the minimum requirements for filling board vacancies. And so we're going to replace what Neola had, because it was much different based on past practices, and update with the current ISBA policy, which is aligned exactly to what Tim Shelley has been sending you to know what we can and can't do. So again, this kind of starts our journey on reviewing, revising, adding if necessary, removing if necessary. It's a pretty big task, but and we want to kind of take our time and go through it methodically. What ISBA does for us, they'll put out a quarterly policy newsletter for you, and I get that, and then I'll look through the policies. Those are usually aligned to the most recent legislation, things that have changed. So we're going to first of all stay as current as we can and get caught up as we can with those types of policies, and then we'll start breaking down the other policies, because there are hundreds, to see where we can start streamlining a little bit. I'm anticipating getting a little more help from ISBA on that and getting the numbers aligned, because that would really make life easier. Angie and I were doing a little searching, and there's a school district not far from here that literally just kept their Neola policies and just put their ISBA policies in. And so we were trying to figure out how that would even work, and that's not how we want to do it. We want to have one combined list, so we're going to work hard on that. So again, tonight is presentation only. After this evening, I will ask Ms. Zimbo if she would please post these on our website for public review if necessary, and certainly if anybody has any thoughts, questions, needs more clarification, please reach out to Steve or myself or a board member for that, and we'll be glad to help you. And then in the March meeting, I would ask for you to consider approving these in a first reading.
Thank you, Lori.
Okay.
So we don't need to vote on this tonight, but do you guys have any discussion or any questions?
Yeah, when I was looking through those, it reminded me of my composition papers in college.
I know, red ink, yeah.
I'm just glad it's not red on my screen.
I know, sorry.
It's a lot of work, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for helping,
Thank you.
Angie.
Thanks, Angie.
Okay, item H6, the Region 8 Career Next Coaching Grant Renewal.
Great, that's me. So Region 8 is part of those educational service centers you heard me reference with Josh Yankee's award. Region 8 is our local educational service center, and this is regarding the next coaching grant renewal. And I'm bringing this tonight on behalf of DeKalb High School. Please accept for your consideration and approval for DeKalb High School. Renew the current memorandum of understanding with the Region 8 Education Service Center for the 26-27 school year as part of the Indiana Commission for Higher Education's Career Coaching Grant Initiative. Region 8 Career Coaching has been instrumental with helping the high school develop career discovery meetings, which have become extremely important, and agilities training for career-focused curriculum courses. And this has been a really good opportunity for several of our teachers. So we just need to enter into a MOU for next school year if we'd like to continue this service from Region 8. And Mr. Wagner would like it if we could.
Thank you, Lori. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What's the value of the grant?
I don't know. It's more of an agreement versus the money thing, because I've never seen like the agilities training broken down. It's they cover all the costs. They just provide it to us and grant us the opportunity. I don't have an amount. I can dig for one, Tony, but I've not seen
Okay.
it. Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item H7 are the resolutions for the 2026 lease bond.
As we get ready for our backpack bonding process, I just want to cover a couple highlights, and then I'm going to turn it over to Josh Winters from Ice Miller, our bond counsel, to go through the resolutions for the board. First thing I'd point out is this is not a hearing. This is just strictly approving some resolutions for the bond lease. There's two ways that our corporation can borrow money in terms of bonding, and that's through lease bonds and general obligation or GO bonds. We just passed a GO bond a couple months ago, as you remember. We approved the backpack bonding process through a leasing process a few months ago. So the bond, the board has approved, okay? The spending of the money has been approved. Now we are in the process of getting to the sale of the lease and the bond itself, okay? So we form what's called a building corporation, which is comprised of 3 individuals from the community. They act as a board of directors to hold a piece of our property and then make payments on behalf of the school district for our bonding process. The biggest thing I just want to point out to the board is just a reminder and the public is the bond itself has been approved. Now we're in the process over the next 2 months of getting to the sale of that bond. So tonight is the formality of the board approving 3 resolutions for our building corporation that is formed with Angie Lockwood, John Good, Tina Bassett form our building corporation. That's a separate entity. I had meetings with them. I had a meeting this month, and I'll have a meeting next month. Next month's board meeting will be the hearing to pass the actual lease agreement with the building corporation, and then that will be when we can sell the bond itself. Okay? With that, I'll turn it over to Josh to go through the 3 resolutions that need to be approved by the board tonight to proceed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, so there's 3 resolutions to be considered tonight. The first one is the resolution determining need for the project. So before the school district can enter into a lease with the building corporation, you first need to make a determination that there's a need for the project. So that's a state law requirement. It's pretty straightforward and short resolution. The second resolution is approving the form of the lease. So before the school district can enter into a lease or conduct a hearing on the lease, which will take place next month, you first have to approve the form of the lease so that you have some basis on which to hold the hearing next month. So that's another state law requirement. And then the third resolution is a federal law requirement that the school district must approve, or in this case reapprove, since we're using the same building corporation, must approve the building corporation to issue tax exempt bonds on behalf of the school district. So that resolution is taking care of those requirements. Any questions on those three resolutions at all?
Okay. So I would just need a motion and
And we
an
can
agreement
go-
to pass. I believe, I'll ask,
All
I'll defer to
three?
Josh, I believe we can approve all three in one motion, or do they need to do a motion for each one individually? We put it in, okay.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I'll ask the board for a motion to approve the resolution determining the need for the project Exhibit A.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. At this time now, I will ask for a resolution approving form of the lease, Exhibit B.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Resolution for reapproving the building corporation, Exhibit C.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Okay. Up next will be our recommendation for the architectural work contract for the Go Bond.
Okay, we got a lot of bonding going on, so I'll try to remind everybody, this is now for the Go Bond, we're going back. This is specifically for the pavilions and the parking lots at soccer and baseball. That's what we're getting architectural help with the Go Bond. Okay, the other projects we don't need. But I am bringing to the board a recommendation to approve Garmin Miller as our architectural partner once again on the 2025 Go Bond. We've obviously had fantastic experiences with Garmin Miller. They've been a very positive partner for the school district. Some highlights of the contract, if you're interested, are first off, I'll point out any contract that we ever sign has gone through by our legal team to make sure there's nothing in there that I could miss, because I am by far not a lawyer. So that has all been vetted by our legal team and approved. Garmin Miller did agree to waive any supplemental fees on this project because it is a smaller project, which is a huge benefit to us. That's literally tens of thousands of dollars that we're probably going to save. They will go with a 5% owner budgeted compensation package. That's going to be their main form of payment by us. Keep in mind that the Go Bond and my estimate on fees, well, not fees, excuse me, on the project cost is a little over $2 million. So the architectural fees, 5%, you can do that math.
As long as they don't come back with a project cost of $5 million.
Correct. Well, if they do that, we're in trouble because we don't have those funds in the Go Bond to begin with. So I think we'll be all right. So I would just ask the board to approve that architectural agreement.
Okay, at this time, I'll ask the board for a motion to approve Garmin Miller for our architectural work for their Go Bond.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item H9, the recommendation for CMA Go Bond.
Still on the Go Bond now, same project, same cost, things like that. I'm asking the board to approve FCI to be our CMA in this project. That's the construction manager as an advisory role. It's not as the management, which we've done in the past with our bleachers and things like that. I will butcher this conversation, which is why I have Tyler Wolf from FCI here if you do have further questions on the CMA arrangement. But highlights for me, I would point out that FCI agreed to waive any pre-construction fees for this project. It's just not as big of a project, so I asked both Garmin Miller and FCI to work with us on that, and I'm happy to report they're both very willing to waive some fees. It's never a fun conversation when you go to a construction company or an architectural firm and say, hey, we really don't want to pay you this much money. Can you do something for us? And both firms were very willing to work with us. And I appreciate that, both of Garmin Miller and FCI. Obviously, FCI has had a relationship through our bleacher project and our co-curricular stadium as they worked as the CMC, so there's a close working relationship between Garmin Miller and FCI already in place. The fees for this, again, they waived the pre-construction costs. There's going to be a fixed monthly staffing fee of $13,500, and I believe we said how many months we're determining on that.
Targeting fall
Right. So 6 to 8 months, that's what I thought. And then their fee will be 2.24% based on GMP, which isn't determined yet, but a 2.24% is an excellent figure. Again, FCI did everything they could to shave costs for us on this project, so I'm glad Tyler's here for me to thank him for all he's done for us in this project and in projects past. FCI has been an invaluable partner as a local company. So I would just ask the board's approval as FCI as our CMA.
At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion to approve FCI for CMA arrangement.
I'll make a
Motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just think it's great that we can get local companies to help us and improve our communities, so I want to thank Tyler and FCI.
I love to make sure that we don't use the same concrete contractor that we used the last time.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and now item H10 is the request of permission to advertise for the CMC backpack.
Okay, again, now we're switching gears. We're going to our 2026 backpack bond. Again, quick reminder, we've approved the bond, so if you think we're getting ahead of the game, we still haven't sold the bond, but this is going to allow us to get the advertisement out for the CMC of this big project, to get somebody hopefully in place for me to bring to you in the March board meeting. That's my goal. I'm gonna get this advertised, if the board approves it tonight, immediately. I'm gonna make a due date on any applications that come in for the CMC role by March 10th. That gives me about a week to get things around, meet with Steve a little bit, and go over things to bring somebody to recommend to the board in March. Again, this isn't approving a CMC. This is strictly for me to get the advertisement out, to advertise for them to bring their proposals into me to go over. So I would ask the boards.
It's for the lease bond.
This is for the lease bond, correct, backpack,
Well,
for a CMC.
you got it in one area, it says lease bond, the other one says backpack. Which one?
Sorry, same thing. Those are synonymous. The lease bond is the backpack bond. Apologize.
Okay. At this time, I'll ask for a motion for permission to advertise for the CMC backpack bond.
I'll motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item H11, school cash payment portal.
Keep churning along here. So we're looking to make a change in our parent payment platform, looking to go to a company called School Cash. This does integrate with our current ERP system, which is New World, which is to me is the biggest bonus of switching from RICOR, which we currently use. We also use EPES for our extracurricular funds. This is going to allow us to house everything in one nice little bucket. This will save us enormous amounts of time as a staff. School Cash is also in the United States, which RICOR is based in Canada. Nothing against Canada, but it does create some delays sometimes. Again, I'm not going to butcher too much, so I have asked my right arm, Gina Burr, to say a few words on School Cash and answer any other questions that you may have if you want to. I did try to tell her to limit her conversation to 5 minutes, so we'll see how fast she can talk.
As long as you need, Gina.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but let me just say, one of the things that I've found over the years through school finance is we're so disjointed. We have a program to do this, and then we have a program to do this, and one to do this. I've always said the $1 billion idea is to get a program that can handle all the things that happen and need to be tracked and reported in a school district. Well, that hasn't happened yet, but I truly believe that School Cash is a step in the right direction. So currently, we have, like Mark said, we have RICOR, which is our student fee management system. That's where we put the fees in. You guys, back when we had student textbook fees, that's where you would go in and you would pay. Then we also have EPES, which is our extracurricular accounting software. So each of the schools, let's take the high school, for example, large extracurricular presence, right? With all the athletics and all of the clubs and organizations they have going through there. A lot of money runs through there. The nice thing about School Cash is it combines both of those into one program. We'll probably pay about $3,000 more per year than the two standalone programs, but I'm guessing a conservative estimate is we're going to save at least $20,000 to $25,000 a year in just the freed up time of our school secretaries and treasurers. You think about all of those disparate systems, that information has to flow from one to the next to the next. Well, guess how that happens? Manual data entry, which we all know opens up the opportunity for fraud to happen. I don't want to see DeKalb Central be the next headline for our extracurricular funds. And this is going to be another way for us to prevent that from happening because we have massive amounts of transparency, and it connects and speaks with our main financial program. So that's why I'm recommending this. I've looked at probably 4 or 5 other programs. I've talked to probably 12 other school districts. I think this is the Cadillac, and for it to only cost us an additional roughly $3,000 a year, all the efficiencies and transparency that we're going to gain is well worth it. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer what I can.
Do you have any idea how many data entries you have per month?
No, thousands, thousands.
Because someone said, well, how much money goes through the school? I said, millions.
Yes.
And then they said, well, where's it all come from? I said, well, I could show you a spreadsheet and how many pages of data. It's not like 3 pages
Well, you
per
think
school.
about,
191 pages.
So
and
they
we
have
can
no
go to
idea.
detail level and get you more, Tony. if you
That's
want.
right. That's not even the big picture.
No, it's a lot, and I'm super excited that our staff members and treasurers are going to be able to step back from that. They have much more important things to do than transfer data from one system to the next.
Good.
So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll ask the board for a motion to approve the school cash payment portal.
I'll make a motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Gina, I hope this makes your life easier too. All right.
Her life's already hard enough dealing with me on a daily basis.
I know.
She's being nice, not saying that out loud, but
Let
I
us know
thought
how
I
we
would
can
say
help
what
with
she's
that.
probably thinking right now.
As a parent, Gina, we're thankful that you're minimizing some of the Venmo, that we're.
Really great thing for, and you'll appreciate this, is one of the complaints or wishes has always been, I wish I could log into one portal and pay my textbook fees or my beta
Yes.
fees and my food ones. Guess what? School Cash allows you to do that.
that's
One
great.
portal, one parent login, and you can pay for it.
One password.
Very
Perfect.
Did you say lunches in there too?
Happened at the base.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you.
That is good.
That's
I don't know if, I'm just doing this for the public at home because Gina wasn't at the microphone and I always get blown up with texts of people in the audience talk because nobody can hear what they're saying. We are working on that, by the way, to have speakers or, microphones for this. But I would point out what the question, being everything is tied together. Parents are going to have one login to be able to make all of their payments now, lunch, extracurricular, book fees, things like that. It's a massive advantage to our parents. I know Lauren shared the picture from her parent square. And I mean, it's, as a parent, I get it as well. It's just what we deal with. We're trying to streamline things and make things easier, so.
That's great. Thank you. I'm sorry, my phone, or my watch answered a telemarketer. All right, our last item on the agenda is item H12. This is Cameron Health Prescription Drug Partnership.
We do have Pete Kemp here who will be presenting, but I just want to say a few things really quickly before he does. I won't hopefully take any of your thunder. But I would want to point out that this is not a replacement to our healthcare at all. This is a supplement. This is an add-on. I would also point out that Cameron and Pete and his team have been, again, very willing to work with me when it comes to money and costs. I am always very leery of signing long-term agreements on things and contracts. We are looking at a 3-year agreement. Cameron has offered to waive fees in the first year. My concern is going to be in getting us to utilize this as a staff. We really have an education piece to get out to our employees to take advantage of this fantastic system that will, are you gonna go into savings in that? So I'm not gonna say that.
I'll be high level, but
Okay.
if you want to,
So-
go a little more granular, that's up to you.
Nope, you're good. So this is a fantastic opportunity. I would be remiss if not mentioning that Tony Baker is the one that brought this to my attention through Cameron. I have given Pete a little flack for like, why do I need to have a board member come and talk to me about a sales pitch and not you? So it's clear he's not high pressure sales,
No.
which is nice. But I do want to point out Tony was the one that brought this to my attention. We got him in, and that's why we're here now, bringing this recommendation after his presentation.
We were actually the first company to sign up for their program.
And so really, the background, I can give a brief background about this. We work directly with the PBM that Tony's company works with. So in the landscape of self-insurance, so the DeKalb County Central United School District is self-insured, much like Tony's company. So when you build your benefits package, it's a la carte. So you design it based on your company's needs. And Tony's company partnered with a PBM partner of ours. So what his model looks like is kind of similar but very different all at the same time. What we're enrolling at DeKalb Central is slightly different. So we'll kind of break that down. We'll talk a little about what it is, how it works, and how we can achieve success. So overall, what this is called is Scriptwell, and this itself as a consumable retail entity in the healthcare space, meaning that companies can actually work with us directly to do it, is new in the last 6 months. However, we've been doing this exact program for well over close to 3 years. So this isn't something that's new. This isn't something that is not proven. It is something that we are just now rolling out to local entities to be implemented in their, in this case, district. We already work with 2 local area districts already with this program. So it's, again, you're not the pioneers. Other districts did it for you guys, and now we get to bring it here and really capture an opportunity to work locally. It's called Scriptwell, and this is the partnership we're going to kind of outline. So what is it? Well, it is essentially a specialty pharmacy carve-out. So how many of you have heard of the term specialty drugs, right? Like, I mean, we know what it is, but we really don't have any clue. By definition, a specialty drug is anything that costs more than $1,000. So what we have done in working with other local entities is we've come together, identify these high-cost drugs, and we create what's a specialty pharmacy carve-out, which is we identify from the help of the broker. So we talked a lot with Nick and their TPA or third-party administrator. We looked at the entirety of the drug spend, and with that, we were able to identify essentially 10 drugs, 10 prescriptions that drive about 65% of your costs as a district, which you are comfortable saying what it was in '24, which was a little bit north of $1 million. So for the size of employer group, you have a very, very high drug spend. So what that tells us is there's a great opportunity for savings. So what we'll do is we'll work with Nick and the TPA. We'll identify individuals without the school district knowing, very important to know, so the employees know that their information is private. We'll work directly with those employees for them to gain savings around drugs in these prescriptions, these high-cost prescriptions. What that looks like is we're able to procure these prescriptions at a discount rate. So what we're not doing is we're not going through the traditional PBM model. So inside your insurance, you have a PBM, where there could be True Scripts, where there could be Northern Winds, Optum, there's a countless number of them, right? For you to get your prescription at the doctor, you go to the doctor, and then you pick it up at your Walmart or Kroger pharmacy, right? At that point, there's usually 7 or 8 layers of middle management that will see some step of that prescription from point A to point Z, if you will. With this, we work directly from the hospital, procuring the prescription at our rate, and we share the savings back to the district. Meaning that savings goes directly to the employee, so there's no out-of-cost savings, and the savings goes back directly to the district. So essentially, you have a direct white glove pharmacy partner for your employees, and that's what this contract is outlined. That's all fancy, but the reality is we're just trying to reduce the bureaucratic levels. Let's see, we're just keep it positive here. Reduce the bureaucratic levels within the health system, provide the best possible care, And in this case, we're focusing on pharmacy. So how does it address the cost drivers? This is just fancy for saying, what we're going to say is nothing changes. Your employees will not feel a disruption in services, which is the single most important fact of all of this. What we're doing is we're creating a slow rollout over the first year, a targeted rollout that will have the highest benefit to the district and the employees who are spending the most money on their prescriptions. So it doesn't change your PBM. It doesn't change your primary care. It doesn't necessarily have to change anything except where you get your prescription filled. That's it. And we work with you directly, and when I say you, I mean the employee and the district, to make sure that it's filled at the best cost possible based on how we're able to purchase the drug. Meaning, no matter how we can purchase the drug, whether it's through a government entity or program, or a GPO, or through retail, we are going to give the best, lowest possible price to the district through a profit-sharing mechanism that we've agreed upon. Why does it work? Because we have shown time over time again through multiple employer groups that by discounting it a certain amount, in this case, over 50% with a lot of drugs, that the cost savings will be significant, which I'll kind of outline here a little bit. So how does it operate here? Well, we kind of said, we're going to work with the TPA, we're going to work with the broker, and we're going to say these are the 5 or 10 individuals that can be qualified for this program. Once we've done that, we'll have a proactive outreach, and this all belongs under Cameron. So this is not an ownage to the HR department or to Gina or to anybody else, Mark, to say you got to go target these individuals because they don't know who they are. It's on us and the broker and the TPA to make sure that we are keeping that information confidential, reaching out to these employees, qualifying them for the program to ensure that they're eligible, and then filling the prescription in the best way possible. In transparency, because this is targeted at these high-dollar maintenance drugs, it is almost all mail order. So how we fill these prescriptions across several different states is through mail order. But because, and I'll touch this a little bit later, but because we are such a close entity, we didn't, which is not usually included in this program, we did include a $0 generic list, which I'll touch on here a little bit, but that's not really intended to be part of that, and I'll kind of talk about what that looks like. So what happens is we have a positive outreach to the employee, we qualify them, we run them through what we call MTM appointment. So our pharmacist has a 30-minute to an hour-long conversation. We review all the prescriptions are on, the medical history. We have an in-depth conversation with this person to make sure that whatever we're filling is appropriate, providing suggestions, and even if they're not part of this program, part of what the district is paying for on a per employee per month is for that service. So if you have an employee who's on prescriptions that aren't part of the program, they still have access to the pharmacist, meaning they can call the number on the card that they have and say, hey, I'm taking these prescriptions, what do I need to know? So it's a trustworthy local partner that you have to help manage some of those questions that you may be too afraid to ask. Eventually, when they have qualified for the program through the MTM appointment, we fulfill, deliver, and then continually deliver and maintain the conversation with that individual who's receiving the prescription through the mail. Great question. What do we report back to the district? High-level cost savings. So the two numbers or the three numbers that will matter most: how many we're filling, what's the savings, and what is the out-of-pocket savings for the employee. So with that, what looking back into 2024, because we can't look forward, right? We can't look into 2025 to say who's going to be healthy, who's not going to be healthy. In 2024, I think we're both comfortable in saving these, and these numbers were vetted by the broker, that the district could save well north of $100,000 off their pharmaceutical spend net. And I think that's being fairly conservative. What's it mean for the employee? The employees of DeKalb Central would have saved between $40,000 and $50,000 out of their pockets that you would have spent on copays. So between the employee base and the employer base, a savings of $200,000 is not unrealistic, which can go a long way to pay for the raises for this DeKalb Central School Board, which is probably the most important thing we talk about today. All right, you can go to the next slide, you can, please. We look at top end percentages. What are the expected outcomes? If we're saving a 20% discount off your pharmaceutical spend, it's a win. I would say with the level of health that we were able to derive from the data that was provided to us from the PBM, I think the opportunity could be even more significant, looking closer to that 25 to 30% because of the health of the group. I think, really that's kind of where we are. What kind of questions, comments, concerns can I get from the board or anybody in the crowd?
Pete, could you give me a scenario like, so one of our, like say a patient is going to their physician, does the physician call this into this location or how does that work? How's that process?
So, great question. So the way it happens, so let's say they have a great primary care physician here in the town of Auburn, and let's say I go to that primary care physician, and he looks at me and says, Pete, you need this GLP-1. And the big driver, a lot of those costs are the GLP-1s. And I can say, hey, I'm on I'm on Ozempic. And I'm not going to say whether or not what the savings are on that because it's not for me to say at this moment. But you're on Ozempic. I get the prescription. What I can do is two things. I'm going to go fill it the first time. And in that case, what will happen is there will be a trigger at the third party, the TPA. They'll reach out to us to fill it the second time. So that is what happens most commonly. Now, with the proactive outreach like we plan on doing, we will get that what's called first fill. So, if we know these individuals who are unhealthy or we know these individuals who are on these other drugs might get prescribed that drug, they will have a Cameron card, which just will say ScriptWell Cameron Preferred Pharmacy Partner. They'll have a number to call and a group number. If they get a script, they can call us and say, hey, does this drug qualify for the program? We're developing a lookup tool as well, but that probably won't be active for, another 6 months.
So what if a patient they already have a special pharmacy that they're using, like you said, OptumRx?
Mm-hmm.
So how do they transfer, how would they
do
transfer?
that? That's what that appointment's for. So we proactively outreach to transfer them from Optum to the ScriptWell pharmacy.
Okay, got it.
And that's what that MTA appointment's for.
Okay.
I'm sorry, managed therapy appointment. I know everyone wants to talk about it.
One of the big benefits that we've seen as a small company, a lot of times smaller companies, insurance cost is expensive. It just is because we just don't have enough people to offset the cost. We've gotten so much positive feedback that somebody actually has called these individuals to help them with their health care issues, that they came in. We didn't have to have the list because they came in and said thank you to the management team for having somebody call and help them. Then the cost savings came in and we got another thank you. So for us, it's been a huge PR positive within our organization that, hey, increase in inflation is through the roof and you guys are out there trying to help us save money. I mean, we've got people, our program's a little bit different, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
But we had people that are saving $300 a month.
And the way we'll roll this out will be that targeted beginning, and hopefully by the end of the year, as we're working with Melissa, we'll put flyers up in cafeteria, in the teachers' lounges. We'll send out communication. We do have a monthly newsletter that we work with our direct partners, and that'll be up to Mark and it'll be up to HR whether or not they want us to send those out. We detail these programs very specifically to whatever the employer needs and looks for, because there very rarely are triple wins anymore in healthcare. But for us, we keep these dollars local. So they go to Angola, they serve, DeKalb County, especially through Ashley. We serve the St. Joe area quite a bit with the Cameron at Work platform. Then the cost savings goes back directly into the employees' pockets that they spend locally, and it goes back to the district. So it win for everybody involved, and that's hard to find these days.
So am I right in understanding that the employee at first doesn't have to do anything? You'll contact them to help them get started?
On the slow roll to start, yes. And again, the district, as far as like the administrative side of the district, I can't reiterate this enough. The district will not have the names of the individuals. That patient information is scrubbed on that end. So there, especially working in a blue collar community, there is always a little bit of nervousness, if you will, because we do this for, I think, 3 local factories in Steuben County and the surrounding areas. That's always the biggest jump. Once we can get past that first hurdle with 4 or 5 people, then we see the true benefit to both the employees. So it is a white glove service, a pharmacy service. It's handled all locally, and the individuals here can go pick up their prescription if they want. They can have it mail delivered, but right now we don't do a delivery service to the school because we can't. There's nowhere to dispense from.
So if they pick them up, where do they go?
The retail pharmacy in Angola.
Okay.
But again, we just step back. What is this program for? High cost maintenance brand name prescriptions.
Yeah.
So the free generics that we mentioned earlier is just an added benefit for those who have access to the Cameron retail pharmacy.
So if they were already on a generic, what does that do then?
If they are on a maintenance generic, so let's say you're on you have an inhaler, right? Albuterol is on that. You can then have albuterol mail ordered to your house.
Okay.
But again, but they have to also evaluate the cost. Like usually that cost is between, $30 and $50 depending on your insurance. So it might be best for the employee to go for the insurance instead. So we can help navigate. That's the whole point of navigation. Like if they call us and say, hey, this is a free drug, but I just want it filled through you, great. The benefit if it's on that free generic drug list, because a lot of people aren't just on one script, they're on several. So, like metformin's a great example. A lot of people are on high dollar brand name drugs are also on like a metformin. Metformin's a free drug on that list, so they can have that attached to that brand name drug.
Okay. That makes sense.
The other nice thing about the system is your employees don't have to use it, and it doesn't change their program, and it doesn't change anything with the school, correct?
This is 100% to bolt on. Yeah. What does that mean? So, and again, we could have a much larger conversation as legislation in Indiana is aggressively changing how healthcare is consumed, both on the federal level and the state level. Direct contracting like this is becoming more and more and more common. And you already kind of see it how we set it up with Lutheran way back in the day for like a Coach Collins, or how the clinic looks like, or of other deals that have happened in the past. This is kind of the same thing, but except it's focused on pharmacy. So you as a consumer, as an employer, can work with other local entities to bring in, like we're bringing mental health services. So like for several factories, we're bringing in on-site mental health services. So we have telehealth for that. So they come in twice a week if they need additional services. Great, then they could do telehealth with our psych team at Cameron. Because what we're finding is things like EAP are horrible. And not saying that they aren't valid, they're just not meeting the needs of the employer base. So we know right off the bat, like, the mental health, musculoskeletal health, hypertension issues, we can help. This helps curb the cost, but it doesn't fix the root problem. So as you as an employer looking to address the root problems through the data that you get from your TPA, you can go to a hospital like a Cameron and say, what can you do to help me address the mental well-being of my employees? We do a lot of screenings for employees. Like we'll go to Tony's place, we do the screenings, we come back to HR and say, hey, you guys have a great issue with hypertension. Well, part of it is these guys are on the line drinking White Monsters and have the pouches in their mouth. Like that's not a great way to live life and eat lunch. How can we create education around serving those individuals to make sure they're not dying by 40? So, there are so many things that you as a district can do being self-insured that can help cut off the cause of these issues and not just kind of save money on the back end treating the issues. So something to kind of be aware of, and Nick Napier is an excellent resource for that.
Is this something we need to like roll out with information to our employees, or is that because Pete will reach out to them? How does that work?
Yeah, it would start, the agreement would start March 1st, and Melissa and I and Gina and others will be actively working on it. Pete's team obviously has, volunteered and will be actively involved in contacting employees. It is a slow rollout. Again, I think one of the biggest things to point out to the board as you're considering this is that they did waive fees in the first year. So I have no PEPM in the first year on this, but we will reevaluate. And I can't stress enough that utilization is key to this program being successful. If we do not get our employees on board with this, which they have no reason to not be on board, so I'm hopeful that they will be, but if they do not, our worst case scenario is they'll claw back what is owed to them in that first year. That's in the contract. I have no issue with. They're going to be doing a ton of work. They're going to be offering the service. It's not their fault in my mind if our employees don't take advantage of it. So our worst case scenario is $25,000 to $26,000 if I'm remembering right off the top of my head. That's well worth the risk in my mind for a program that I feel is invaluable to our employees. I've had a few questions on, what if I get a cold, what if things like that, I need a Z-Pack right now, I don't want to run up to Angola. I would say to those employees, and I have said to those employees that have brought that concern to me, that's why we have a clinic that is free. You go over there, say I have a cold, they'll give you a free Z-Pack right then. Okay? So I'm kind of hopeful that the utilization of this prescription drug program will feed utilization of our clinic as well. Because they're two great services for our employees that are just not being taken advantage of as well as they can.
It will start slow, but the employees are the best salespeople for this program.
Absolutely.
Because as soon as somebody tells somebody else that they saved $300 last month on their prescriptions,
that's what I'm banking on.
Open up the floodgate, because that's what happens.
And at the core of this too, it is a capitalist at heart, right? Knowing that it's hugely incentivizing for Cameron to deliver those prescriptions. We are incentivized to do so. The per employee per month fee that Mark is talking about is what incentivizes the employer. And that fee directly to us allows us to hire individuals that will work DeKalb Central only. So essentially we charge the bare minimum, I won't say the bare minimum, we charge some of the lowest PEPMs across the market to achieve that effect. And the reality is if we find huge success, we might have future discussions on how we can lower that, which we've done for other larger groups. But if we find huge success and we have a high level of enrollment and we're seeing a high level of utilization, we'll reevaluate those PEPMs.
I have one more question.
You keep asking.
How does it work if they can obtain a savings card directly from the drug or from the
so you're talking
pharmacy?
about rebates.
Yes. Yeah.
So as you and I both know, those pharmacy rebates are starting to go away less and less and less. And really, let's say you are working with your PBM, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. A lot of PBMs will keep some of those rebates and only give you a certain amount. That's how they make money. With this, it's a different model. There are no rebates. We are giving you the best price we as a hospital, as a pharmacy, can give to the employer. So there are no, so if let's say you get a good RX card. If I'm Pete and I have to go get my high cost brand name prescription at Walmart, I go up, I have my good RX card. That's using cash pay. Through this program, there will be no deductible or copay. And I'm not paying cash pay because the employer, in this case, DeKalb Central, is paying for that script.
Okay.
So if I'm the employee, do I want to go pay $35 or $50 for that copay? Or in a lot of cases with these high deductible plans, I'm covering my first $3,000 to $5,000. And I don't know what the plan structure looks like, but as more and more employers are pushing the high deductible health plans, where they have to cover the first $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 out of pocket, this program becomes even more invaluable because it's $0 coverage, or first dollar coverage, if you want to consider it that, to the employee.
Sounds good. I like want to quiz you on drugs. Tell me how much is this one?
Well,
gonna
we
be?
were supposed to have a couple pharmacists here tonight. One was the administrator on call. He's up north, and the other one is a young mother with 3 small children at home. So her name is Hannah. She's the one that runs our pharmacy teams, and we're going to be up here next Wednesday, working with HR here and the central office to kind of set up that rollout for March 1. And also, we are also available, like if any of you guys want to quiz us, ask us in a more private format or online, we're happy to do that. That's exactly what we're here to do. And that's almost the entirety of my role at Cameron.
And I'll add that his team, Hannah in particular, is phenomenal. I think Gina would attest to that as well. They're all extremely knowledgeable. The third member of the team is a licensed pharmacist. So
The two are.
excuse me, both of them
Both
are.
of them.
So that's obviously helpful to us, but they know what they're talking about. There's no question. And they're here to help. I think we all know Pete's a DeKalb grad. That helps. That doesn't hurt. So I think the risk is negligible to the district, with the benefit side being through the roof.
Yeah, I think.
Absolutely, the power partnership is huge. And
The clinic even gives a bigger advantage.
Absolutely.
The utilization of the clinic will give the district far bigger advantage than what I have as an employer.
Right.
As far as someone, I help manage 3 of those clinics. I can work with HR. Like, I know it's not our clinic and it's not something that we necessarily want to take on, but that's something that we could help do. Like, that's my entire existence within that world. So if that's something I can help with, I can absolutely will. That's enough time.
Thank you.
And again, I'll be around after or by phone. I think everyone here has my phone number anyway.
It's frightening.
I know, that's scary.
Thanks, Pete.
I think I
That's
asked-
all I have.
Okay. All right. I think I asked a lot of questions, but if employees have questions, definitely reach out.
Absolutely.
Did we have a motion in a second?
We have not.
I'm not even.
We haven't had a motion
but-
yet.
You just had a presentation.
All right. Well, at this time, I will ask for a motion to approve the Cameron Health Prescription Drug Partnership.
Motion to approve.
I was second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Pete, for all the information.
Yeah, and there's always more, so please don't be afraid to reach out.
All right. That brings us to our miscellaneous portion of the evening. So I will open up to our board members if you have anything this evening.
I have 3 things. I'll be fast. Taste of DMS is Thursday, 6 to 8. So if you missed last year's, you missed out. So just come in, just kind of check things out. I think you have refreshments. So you can kind of dine. Light. Dine light. So that's Thursday, 6 to 8. Saturday is the DeKalb Choir Invitational. So they're looking for volunteers. I think it goes from like 6 in the morning if you're going to work. It's all day,
Most
baby.
of the night.
17 choirs, so if you've got nothing going on Saturday, help. Third thing, Polar Plunge was supposed to be on, I thought, an optimal day on February 6th. It was like
Very
4 degrees.
warm. Yeah, it was really
It was perfect
beautiful
for a
day.
polar, and they rescheduled it for March 13th, and I'm unavailable. I will be in Louisville at a school board conference, so if you'll pull up the first slide, Angie. That's at my house. I got the chainsaw out because I don't ice fish, so I decided to cut the ice, and then for some reason I thought I'd set it off to the side, so that's how thick the ice is. I did that today.
Are we getting photos of?
Go to the next one.
There's more. There's more.
So that's me standing by the hole.
Was Barb supervising on
No. So that's me, not just AIing my picture there.
No.
Go to the third. That's me sitting on the bottom. It's only about 2 feet deep. Or no, actually standing. So, going knee deep doesn't really count. So the last one is, you'll see my face is a little different. That's me sitting in the lake. It's about deep enough. So that's, I fulfilled my pledge to be in the polar plunge, even though no one else will be in 12 inches of ice. So there it is.
That might be, that's,
Oh, yeah.
I could care
yes.
less who you show.
Carrie,
that
please
could
do.
be AI.
I don't see you
I don't
physically in the water
gotta
in any one of those pictures.
Well, you can
personally,
come
but-
out tonight and you can join me. 'Cause I
It's
can
actually still
pull
on the
ice back
dock.
out.
Like,
See some witnesses. I want-
actually, we need a video.
I'll need a photographer.
Where was Barb? Why wasn't she videoing
She's
that?
in Lafayette at the basketball
Oh,
game.
all right. That's great, Tony.
So if you want to donate, I'm a little short of my goal of 400, so
Yes.
click in there but that's me. Nice face.
Well, that's
I'm
great.
done.
That's great.
Well
Yes.
done, Tony.
And I'm sorry we'll miss it, Carrie, but
Yeah.
we'll be there in spirit. But
Have
we'll be in
fun.
Louisville.
That'll be awesome. Valerie and I were in Indianapolis today attending the legislative day for Indiana School Board Association. This morning, the ISBA presented about the 34 bills that they are currently tracking at the State House that affect education.
This is the short session.
Yeah, for the short session, they started with 90 bills that were affecting education. They're down to 34. And I would say the three they kind of highlighted the most. They went over more than that, but there were three that they're kind of highlighting. HB 1004 is they're calling it the deregulation bill. They're removing about 17,000 words out of the codes. The last time they did this was the last time we were there, and that time they removed 35,000 words out of the codes, unnecessary words. So that's nice of them. So that was an interesting one. SB 78 is currently kind of being called the cell phone bill, and we're busy following that because that will affect how schools are dealing with cell phones in our schools. So that one is going to pass in some form. So our schools will be affected by that. And SB 199 is mostly about social media, and it has more to do with parental controls and social media, but it will affect schools and things like that. So those were kind of the three main ones. We were very excited. We did invite Senator Tyler Johnson and State Representative Ben Smaltz to join us. Tyler was able to join us for lunch, which was really nice, and we talked to him about a couple of bills and talked to him about our opinions about some of them. And then we walked over to the State House, and Ben Smaltz was able to come out and talk with us and took us back, and we also shared some opinions with him about some things that we felt pretty strongly about. And both were very good listeners, and so we appreciate their time and them being able to and willing to talk with us. So it was a really good day, and we
It was a great
zipped
day.
right back here and came for
It's
this.
been a
So
long- Yes, we left at 6 a.m. and got back here right in time for this meeting. So it was a good day, and yeah, thank you to Tyler Johnson and for Ben Smaltz meeting with us and always willing to listen and work with us and help support us. So
yeah, so that was our miscellaneous. Not as exciting as yours. There was no polar plunging.
we did take some pictures, but I did
Not
not
like
make a
mine.
slideshow.
They weren't like yours, no.
That's a safe statement.
Yeah, Tio and I got to go up to Country Meadow today and work with the fourth graders and Mrs. Peace as far as their simple machine project. So all those kids were so proud to share their creations. Everybody had a presentation, kind of worked on some of the interaction that we had. So that was a really great experience we had with Mr. Schlimmer today as well. So
I figured he'd be there. All right, that's awesome. All right, how about our administration?
Just briefly, normally Mr. Wagner is here, principal from the high school, but he attended a council meeting, City of Auburn, where Carol Fike was named Auburn Citizen of the Year. Carol's a special ed teacher at the high school and unified coach all across the board, so very deserving. We're proud of her, and we're happy that Mr. Wagner could be there to support that. And I think you'll probably see it in the
that's
paper
amazing.
and across social media, so just wanted to reference that. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Good.
Nothing else? And I didn't have anyone else sign up to speak tonight, but I will open it up to our audience if anyone has anything tonight. Just want to thank our guests for being here with us. We appreciate your services and spending your evening with us. So, okay, at this time, I will read into the minutes that we will hold an executive session immediately following this meeting. And I believe that's it. At this time, I'll ask the board to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.